Today we'll start with a question from Ben Goetz, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Go ahead, Ben.
Hey, Evgeny. Just what was your reaction yesterday with the news that you were going to be traded to Vegas?
The reaction, like it kind of, I wasn't expected. So like I just like first call, and like Ottawa general manager called me and said like, so we trade you, like first reaction was like, which team in my head, and then like he told me that it was Vegas, and like, yeah, I'm just like, I take that like as part of my job as well too.
Next, we'll go to Jesse Granger at The Athletic. Jesse, go ahead.
Hi, Evgeny. In your time in Florida, you obviously had a lot of success scoring goals, playing with some really talented players. When you look at Vegas's lineup, how excited are you with the guys you could potentially play with?
I'm very excited, actually. Like I think it's like one of the best teams in NHL right now, and like every year is a competitive team, and I'm like very excited. I can't wait the season starts.
Again, to ask a question, please use the raise hand function at the bottom of your screen. Next, we'll go to Justin Emerson, Las Vegas Sun. Go ahead, Justin.
Hey, Evgeny, welcome to Vegas. We can kind of look at your numbers from Florida to Ottawa and see a bit of a dip, at least, especially on the power play. I'm curious if you ever felt comfortable in Ottawa's system, and if you kind of can shake off last year and kind of look for a fresh start in Las Vegas.
Like every season starts with nothing, right? Like it's begin again, like, and then like last year, like especially power play, like when you like couldn't like pick up some points like on the first like 10-15 games, and then it started rolling and rolling, like like you harden yourself, and like it started getting harder, probably just like for that point, like I need always like have a good start with that, and like keep roll the other way.
Next, we'll go to David Shane, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Go ahead, David.
Hi, Evgeny. Your first stint in the NHL versus the last 4 years, why do you think it's gone better for you? And do you think you were a better player and more prepared when you came back to the NHL?
Like you mean like my first contract? It was like when it was like 13 years ago or whatever. Yeah,
that is what he's referring to, Evgeny.
What's that?
That was what he was referring to, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It been long time ago, and like hard to tell. Like a lot of changes, and like I think I grew like as a player, and hockey's changed. Like I had like more experience. Like I knew what expected in the second time. Like just like I don't see that like even like reasons to compare those like points.
We'll go back to Jesse Granger at The Athletic. Go ahead, Jesse.
Hey, Evgeny, we spoke with Kelly McCrimmon yesterday about maybe some of the difficulties you faced in Ottawa, just from a personal, like away from hockey standpoint, being away from your wife and that type of thing. How tough was Ottawa, and how much do you think that kind of played a role in the season you had?
I'm not gonna get any excuses about my game, but like of course that was tough time, like without the family, and like especially in Canada, was quarantine all year almost. Like I just had to like go like my apartment and the rink, and just like 2 places I went. That was, yeah, like the year was hard, but like I guess like it was hard for everybody.
Next, we'll hear from Pavel Lysankov of NHL.com. Pavel, go ahead.
Yes, thanks. Couple questions on Russian language. Женя, привет, поздравляю с обменом. Два вопроса. Во-первых, ты свои лучшие сезоны провел, когда у тебя были в тройке два классных центр-форварда. Вадим Шипачев, потом Александр Барков. Надеешься ты увидеть такого центр-форварда в Вегасе?
Наверное, надеюсь, что я как бы в первую очередь, наверное, волнуюсь, как я подойду к сезону, как я, насколько буду готов, в какой форме буду. И думаю, что от меня тоже многое зависит, поэтому я готовлюсь. Ну, с кем меня поставят играть, как будет центрально играть, да, это уже как бы не то, что как бы, что я могу контролировать. Но, наверное, буду пытаться выжимать из каждой ситуации максимум.
And second question is, второй вопрос. Твой товарищ по тройке Вадим Шипачев имел опыт в Вегасе, может, ты с ним советовался там даже по бытовым вопросам, что, как, почему?
Но я с ним не советовался. Конечно, я с ним разговаривал по его ситуации, да, но не знаю, по бытовым вопросам я еще пока вообще ни с кем не советовался. Только вчера случилось. Я еще не знаю, как мне быть с этим вопросом.
Our final question will go to Vince Sapienza of Fox 5. This will be the last question for Evgeny. Go ahead, Vince.
Hey, Evgeny, just housekeeping stuff. Where are you right now, and how soon do you plan on getting to Vegas and kind of getting set up? What does that plan, I guess, entail for you?
Right now I'm in Florida, so I have like two older kids who start going to school, and yeah, I just have to figure out when the school starts in Vegas, and we try to go to the Vegas shortly.
To conclude our interview with Evgeny Dadonov. Evgeny, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Bye.
Today for Matthias, we'll start with a question from Ben Goetz, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Go ahead, Ben.
Hey, Matthias. When you talked to us after the season was over, you said you weren't sure whether you were going to be back. Are you surprised at all that you and the Knights were able to come to an agreement yesterday?
I wouldn't say surprised. I guess there was a lot of moving parts, and I knew that they were trying to do a lot of things, and there would need certain things to happen for me to be able to come back. So I'm glad it worked out, and I'm excited for next year.
Next, we'll go to Justin Emerson. Justin Emerson of the Las Vegas Sun. Go ahead, Justin.
Hey, Matthias, I know lines and line mates and all that get figured out in training camp, but when you see Evgeny Dadonov come in, I guess, what do you know about him? And if you guys do end up playing together, how excited are you to have him join a group that looks pretty similar to last year?
Yeah, I haven't played him a ton. Probably been in the other conferences, and obviously last year I haven't. But yeah, for sure a speedy, skilled guy. So for sure would be fun to play with, and a good fit on our team, and a really good player. But I think as far as line mates go, I know how it works and how much it's changes throughout the year. So I think we have a lot of good players in place, and whoever you play with, you're going to have a good line.
Next, we'll hear from Jesse Granger, The Athletic. Go ahead, Jesse.
Hey, Matthias, when you join a team at the trade deadline that's kind of going towards the playoffs, you sort of just try to fit in. I'm curious, as you spent more time with this team, what areas of your game did you see you get more comfortable with as the season went on, and where do you hope to see the most growth now that you'll have a full off season with them to enter a season fully ready?
I think right off the start there, I think I fit in pretty well. I played pretty good. I think the hardest part last year was the fact of being traded and not really have a home, or I stayed in a hotel. So the longer time went, it was a grind. And I think what's going to be better now is you're kind of familiar with everyone, the staff, the equipment managers, the players, the coaching staff, and everything. And that this hockey wise, you're more familiar with the system. So I think everything is going to come a little bit easier. Whereas last year in the beginning, you were really focused to learn, and then maybe a couple of things slipped along the way, and you had to kind of start thinking a little bit more. And so this year from the start, you can play a little bit more loose, and you're gonna know a little bit more about the system.
Next, we'll go to David Shane, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Go ahead, David.
Hi, Matthias. Sort of with all that, and again, I know it's out of your hands, but what sort of role do you envision going forward for yourself next year? Kelly McCrimmon kind of talked about you as a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can play wherever, up and down the lineup, and that's what you need on a good team from me. But I also know it's up to me how well I perform, for what chance I'm gonna get. But like you said, I think I can play up and down. But I also know that things are gonna change throughout the year. So you just have to focus on. I'm gonna try to focus on my game and try to get better and better, and hopefully play my best hockey towards the end of the year. But yeah, I think I have a good chance, and like I said, there's a lot of good players there, and that's partly why I wanted to sign here again, because I think it's a big year with the Olympics and everything coming up too. So it's a good opportunity for me to develop my game and hopefully play some good hockey.
Do you have any remaining questions for Matthias Janmark? If so, please use the raise hand function at the bottom of the screen. We do. We have Justin Emerson, Las Vegas Sun. Go ahead, Justin.
Hey, you just mentioned the Olympics. How big of a goal is it for you personally to make Team Sweden?
Yeah, I mean, that would be a huge thing. I guess it's not 100% sure if we're able to go yet, but it looks that way, and it's for sure been a dream for as long as I can remember. He always watched that growing up back in Sweden, and I guess it's been far from reality for me. But I think if I can play some good hockey, there's maybe gonna be an opportunity there. So for sure, I'm looking forward to performing pretty good up until then, and give myself the best chance I have to get taken for it.
We'll finish today with Otto Morand, NHL.com. Otto will be last. Go ahead, Otto.
Hejsan, Mattias från Sverige här. Grattis till kontraktet. Tänkte bara kolla, du har nämnt redan, men lite grann känslan när det här blev klart och hur du ser fram emot nästa säsong.
Nej, det var väldigt kul. Jag trivdes bra förra året och vi har ett bra lag. Så nummer 1 är väl att försöka utmana om att vinna Stanley Cup nästa år. Och jag tycker att vi har en väldigt bra chans, så det var väldigt kul att få vara kvar ett år till och försöka fullfölja det, eftersom vi misslyckades förra året. Det var en besvikelse, men ser fram emot det väldigt mycket. Och ja, att få uppleva ett år i den här organisationen och den här staden utan ett fullt år, 82 matcher och utan covid förhoppningsvis och sånt där. Så det blir ser fram emot.
And we'll leave it there. Matthias, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
That is Matthias Janmark. That will conclude our interview.